I'm Sue Hausmann.
And I'm Janie Lantz.
Well, now we'll see just how we do cards that have applique, and that applique in this case is an applique of a picture, or in this case, two pictures for this engagement card, printed on fabric and then appliqued as a part of the embroidery stitching that we've created in 5D Card Shop. And Janie, this is really easy to do, isn't it?
It's super simple.
Yep.
So
Well, we're going to focus today on a little birth announcement, and this one is especially fun because it's made with soft, fuzzy fabric and has a little tie on it. Maybe the grandma and grandpa get this fancy one, which has several sides to it. But if you send them to all your friends, you might want to go a little bit quicker.
yes.
And so we have the two-sided card, which of course we have the applique done with the printable fabric of the new baby printed on fabric and the information. Easy to actually lay this all out, get it ready to embroider in 5D Card Shop.
Yes. Would you like to see how to do
I
that?
would.
Okay. Well, we're going to start our 5D Card Shop software. And you can see we have all these different themes to choose from. Today we're going to make an announcement.
Okay.
So we'll choose announcements. And we have lots of choices of different things that we can choose. We're going to make this a double-sided card to create that card that would be quick and easy to do. Now, all of our templates, we can show them all at one time, or we could even look for boy. And it's going to bring up just the little boy cards. And here's that card right there that you have in your hand. So here's our little boy card.
So that allows for the picture. You've already got it and you've already moved on, ready to do it. Okay.
That actually allows us to print the picture at the end. So
Good.
we'll talk about that real quickly at the end too. We're going to select our size this time to a medium, but we can still leave it that large hoop because it's all going to stitch in that large hoop if we have that available, and a single embroidery. And now all we have to do is choose our photograph and change our words if we wish.
Okay, so the photograph was actually brought in. So if I had a different photograph, I could bring it right
just
into
double
that.
click on it and choose change image and find the picture I wanted to use. But we're going to use the photograph that came in this card, which is that beautiful little baby that we see on our finished card.
And how do we see the back of the card again?
we just click up here in the corner where it says back.
And we could put the birth date and weight and everything in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
lots of different names for different babies too. So we have those options as well. Now when we get this all created just the way we want, we would want to print on that printer fabric, right?
We do want to print.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have to do two things. We have to tell it that we want to print our picture.
Okay.
Okay. And then it's actually going to print it on fabric. This is printing our template. So we can also tell it that we want to print our picture on the center, which would print it right in the middle of our printer fabric. But if we want to do two, we're doing lots of cards, we could print one with it on the top, and we could print one with it on the bottom and actually use our fabric twice.
Good. Okay. So we've created the design. We've created the information. It knows to stitch the front and the back, and it knows that we're going to do an applique.
Right. And we're just going to turn off everything except printing our picture.
Okay.
And when we come back here to print, there it is.
So that's what it's going to print. And I have that here for everyone to see.
Right.
So in this case, normally we say print it on paper first to test it.
Yes.
See if it's what you want.
Yes.
And there are a lot of different types of printable fabrics available, a lot of different brands. And I always say look for quality brand and one that is like a poplin cotton. And why would you use special fabric as opposed to just plain old fabric? Well, there's a chemical in there that keeps it so that it doesn't run, or so that it stays well in there. And you can make this yourself with the liquid too, that puts the chemical. But then after you've printed it, you pull the paper off the back.
Right.
And now you're ready to take and applique that piece of fabric that's actually a picture onto your card. So we've started to stitch this card. The first things have stitched here. Every one of the cards will stitch first the outlines. We've talked about those before because they're so handy for placement, for trimming and for finishing. But this one stitched a new kind of outline.
Right. Shows us right where to put our fabric.
And a little tip is to trim this star shape from point to point. In other words, instead of laying that whole big piece of fabric on there trying to figure out where to put it,
Yes.
trim from point to point and then just match your points and lay your fabric in place. And you could use a little temporary spray adhesive on the back to hold that in place and touch start on your embroidery machine. Now, if you want to check that it's placed correctly, many of the machines today have a positioning.
Yes.
And you could check the positioning with it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I know this saves in all formats.
Yes, it does. So it will work on all brands of embroidery machines.
All brands of embroidery machines. So now it will straight stitch around, and you would take a little applique scissors and trim out the excess fabric. And then once you've done that, you'd complete the embroidery.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So it's that easy to create
And fast.
your little birth announcements. And of course, we could finish these quickly, but instead with this one, we're suggesting that you just take that piece of fusible web and put it in here and press it together and then trim it with a pinking shear, and you'll have, or you can simply top stitch or stitch under, and you'll have your darling little baby announcement to send out, and no one's going to get a baby announcement like this from anybody else.
No, they're not. And how proud is Grandma and Grandpa going to be?
You got it.